I'm Josh.
And I'm Jen. Welcome to the Gospel Shaped Family Podcast.
Each episode brings biblical wisdom and practical conversations on parenting, marriage, and family. And we discuss how to disciple the next generation with a biblical worldview.
Whether you're raising children, shepherding a church, or longing to build a legacy of faith in your home, this podcast is for you.
Join us as we explore how to shape hearts, homes, and churches around the gospel, one conversation at a time.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Gospel Shaped Family Podcast.
Hello.
How's it?
Hi.
How's life? Good deal. Well, we're on the cusp of summer. We're on the cusp of summer. And the wonderful thing about summer is so many families have extra time together. Kids are not in school. Extracurricular schedules are pretty much like non-existent. The days are longer, and there's opportunity just to maximize all of our time together. So we thought what we would do today is talk through and give you guys some ideas, really just to make the most of your summer, to use your summer months to be super intentional with your family, help them grow closer to Christ, help those relationships get deeper, and just really make this the best summer ever. So, Josh, what did your summers look like growing up?
We had to be up by 9 a.m.
Wow.
We had a list of
How old were you when this started?
I don't know.
All of summers?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my summer memories.
Okay.
We had a list of responsibilities that we had to do
Okay.
that entailed usually some aspect of chores and cleaning, and we always helped out with the garden. That was an expectation. We lived back in the day when kids still played outside a
Yeah.
lot with neighbors, so we did a lot of baseball at the park. We, made our own home run derby area,
Mm-hmm.
riding bikes all around. But before I got a job, that was it. I think that kind of, just
Chill summer?
chill summers. Once I had started working, of course, then working all summer long. How about you?
Yes. Well, I mean, I think I can look at summers and being like, this is what we did when we were younger. This is what we did when we were a little bit older. When we were younger, my grandparents lived with us. And so they lived with us and then they had a cabin. And so when we were younger, like elementary ages, it was like a ton of time with my grandparents. Either like we had a pool in our yard and we would swim like all the time, or we'd go to their cabin and like we would each get a couple weeks at the cabin, just like ourselves with our grandparents, which
Wow.
was so fun. It was like 1 week by yourself, 1 week bring a friend with my grandparents, which was super fun. And then, I mean, in high school, it was either like two extremes. Either like no structure, sleep as late as you want, do whatever you want, or like work. And I would work quite a bit in high
Mm.
school. But I remember there just being like a lot of like, here we go.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I just woke up. It's noon,
I think that's often the tendency for a lot of families to go so hard during the school
Yes.
year, and then it's like everybody does a big exhale.
You just need to
and
crash a little bit.
Yeah. So in the freedom and the wonderfulness of summer,
Yeah.
thinking through, it's not too far away, thinking through, you don't want to get to the end of it and think, man, what did we do? Where
Yeah.
was the value this summer? So this maybe will helps you preempt and think through how to build some of those special times in
Yeah.
that creates the intentionality you mentioned, make some great lifelong memories, and also deepens relationships, help kids grow in the Lord. This will help with that. And I do think I was just thinking, if we've got about 18 summers with our kids,
Mhm.
that's a total of 42 months. If you think 3 months a year,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of time.
Uh-uh.
So we want to
We
maximize.
want to maximize the
Yeah.
summers. They're so special. Well, we thought we'd give you guys some ideas and we'll kind of talk through them. And hopefully, some of these will resonate with you and you'll say, this is what I'm going to do this summer. We're going to make it happen. The first one is to celebrate the last day of school. I remember being a kid and I was in public school and I would like count down the days till the last day of school. And I remember like riding the bus home and be like,
That
freedom,
last day
and
of school getting
oh.
out, there's very few things in life that were as
Man,
wonderful as
even
that.
when I taught in school, even when I taught school, that last day of school, there's something about it, like, the smell in the air, it smells like summer, and even now that we homeschool, we do celebrate the last day of school, the last day of activities, the last day of all the things, so, celebrate the last day of school with your kids, and that can look like a lot of different things. I knew friends who do, like, summer baskets with fun activities. One thing you can do is write a summer bucket list with your kids.
Mm.
Sit down with them, write it out. What is it that you want to do with your kids this summer? Ask them what would make these months memorable for you, and they'll come up with some really great ideas. I asked our kids this last week. And they were like, we want to go swimming with all of our friends a lot this summer. And then they want to go disc golfing.
Disc
The boys
golfing,
wanna
yep.
do a lot of disc
That's what Asher told
golfing
me,
this
yep.
summer. Yeah, both the boys said that.
And a lot of fishing. They were like, "I wanna go
Oh,
fishing,
yeah,
dad."
they did
Yep,
say that. They did
yep.
say that. And then also start the summer by establishing a new family schedule and expectations. You know, wake up times change, bedtimes change, meal times change, chores, so many things need to change. So in our house, um, our wake up times, that doesn't really change much because our kids kinda get up and they do their morning chores. But I would say that there is, like, a little bit more, like, flexibility, sleep in time, and so, yeah, I would say establish that with your families because really, I mean, we've said this before 100 times, but everybody is happier when they know what is coming, and so if there are extra things that they need to do or, different parameters, just lay those out. It's going to make things easier in the long run.
Yeah, give your kids a purpose
Yep,
in
totally.
the summer, otherwise everybody's aimless.
Oh, yeah.
The second idea is to prioritize some extended time with grandparents. And this, of course, summer affords a whole lot of opportunities
Mhm.
here that sometimes the school year doesn't. And so, like you, we would spend some extra time every summer with my grandparents. Mine lived about 2 hours away
Mhm.
from where we lived in Rochester, Minnesota. They lived in Rochester, and we would go and stay with one set of our grandparents for a whole week, and they
Fun.
would just plan a whole bunch of stuff, and it was good. It was great. We didn't get to do that any other time of the year, and so it's just an extra special time to be with them. So you used to have your grandparents for you used to come up from Florida,
Yeah.
and they would stay with you guys for like
The
crazy,
whole
like sometimes
summer.
the whole summer. I
The
remember that.
whole summer.
Yeah.
Even, like, through high school, and even when I was in college, they would come up and they would stay because they used to live with us, and then that was a few years, and then they bought a cabin, and they had that cabin for quite a long time, and then they decided they didn't wanna maintain all these houses, so they would just come and, like, stay with us all summer, and it was so wonderful, like, all the time with my grandma, and she was, like, super chatty, we would play cards, and, sometimes it's not like these, like, grand activities, but really it's just the presence of having them around, so, for different families, it could look different, maybe you're going to their house, or maybe it's an invitation for them to come and stay, like, there were many, many summers where I didn't even have my bedroom to myself all summer because they would stay in my
And
room,
you would sleep on the
and I
couch.
would sleep on
Yeah.
the couch, and that didn't really bother me.
No?
I was totally cool with that,
Yeah.
but, like, it didn't bother me, and I loved having them. They were
Good
just
memories.
oh, it was
Yep.
so great. So if you can do that with your
Trying to
family,
think how we do that with our kids. So my dad comes and we do a father-son camp out.
father-son camp out.
Every Memorial weekend, we've done it for like a decade.
Yep,
My dad comes to that or has historically for the last quite a long time.
yep,
So he just incorporates all the father and sons. We do a beach day. My brother lives on a small lake here in the Twin Cities,
uh-huh,
and so we do a it's become kind of a half day, but it used to be a full day with, like, a fishing tournament
like,
and with
intense.
my whole family,
We should bring back the full
part
day.
yeah, part so that's been on our summer routine now for
Yeah.
forever, So those kinds of things, and they can then grandparents, of course, can be incorporated into all the other ideas that
Yep.
we're gonna share here. So what's the third one,
Yeah,
Jen?
the next one is VBS. VBS, VBS, VBS. Every church offers VBS. I even have friends who VBS hop. I didn't even know that was a thing. But that, I guess, in like Christian mom circles is a thing that you go from like VBS to VBS to VBS all summer. Now, I'm not necessarily like encouraging that, but go to VBS
At
at
your
your
church, there you
church.
go.
Go
I'm
to
as a
VBS.
pastor, I hear all the church hopping. I'm like, ooh,
Ooh,
maybe not.
we've never done that. We've
No.
never gone to a different VBS other than our church. But go to VBS at your church, serve at VBS at your church, and make that like the pillar of your summer. So for us, our kids have aged out of VBS now, which is kind of sad. But every summer, forever and a day, we were at VBS and serving and learning all the music, and you're just with your church family, and it is so special. So make VBS a priority, and there's a lot of great VBSs. We have the privilege of like getting to see on a larger scale like what are some of the VBSs that are out there from the major curriculum companies, and there is a lot of great biblical teaching that you're going to see happening at VBSs all across America this summer.
Number 4 is to incorporate teaching history from a biblical worldview into your 4th of July celebration.
Mm.
And, one of the things that's unique about the United States is we have a birthday. There's
Yeah.
like, what's the birthday for France? What's the birthday for Italy? What's the birthday for England? They just, they've been around for so long. They just kind of they're
Mhm.
there. They don't have a birthday like we do in the United States. The United States has a birthday,
Mhm.
and the birthday recognizes the providence of God in
Yep.
bringing America into nationhood and the Christian principles that have gone into creating the country that we have. Of course, there's, the founding fathers. There's just a richness in what they say about the different components of our country that have gone into the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, things like God who, the laws of nature and the nature of and the God of that nature. I mean, there's just poetic language like
Yeah.
that in the Constitution. And so one of the things, we buy I don't know if we're odd or normal in this regard, but we spend a couple $100s. We go and buy fireworks, which are technically legal in Minnesota, so don't tell anybody. I go to Wisconsin and big, we do our own fireworks every year. And Jen has a
4th
kind
of
of
July playlist.
patriotic
We
playlist.
listen to
And
Sandy Patty singing
oh,
"God Bless America." It makes me
yeah,
cry every
there you
year.
go. There you go. But, when we do talk, we pull out, we have some resources that we pull out
Mhm.
and are helpful just as we don't need to sermonize the day, but
Uh-uh.
having some context
Yeah.
like I just gave you, and even if a few bullet points, talking points, it's helpful for our kids to recognize the uniqueness of our country, the Christian nature of our country. The 4th of July, it can be about grilling out and time with family and games, but build these kinds of things into it and make it help them understand why why our nation is unique and special and we don't want to lose that.
Yeah, totally. It's 2026, and so it's the 250th
That's
anniversary.
right.
And there are gonna be major like, I read that there's gonna be, like, a 2-week long, like, state fair type thing on the National Mall, and there's gonna be a huge parade and all these things, so, yeah, maybe even, like, meander your way down to DC and take it all in, huh? It's gonna be spectacular.
Let's take a break to thank Renew Nation, the sponsor of this podcast. If you've benefited from the Gospel Shaped Family podcast, consider making a tax-deductible donation to Renew Nation today. Your generous donations make this podcast and our work to help children develop a biblical worldview possible. If you've enjoyed the episode, you can support us by leaving a review. This helps the podcast grow and reach more families. Now back to the show.
Well, the next one is use summer to intentionally build lasting, deeper friendships for your kids. And we've talked about that on the podcast before. A little bit about like how do you help your kids make friends? How do you establish friendships that are lasting and deep? And one of the great times a year to do that is summer. So if you're a homeschool family and you would like to pursue friendships with certain families that are, maybe from your church that aren't homeschooling, this is a great time. Line up those park dates, line it all up, and really help your kids facilitate some friendships. A couple of things that we've done in the past is um, we have weekly standing park dates with friends. So every Tuesday at 10 o'clock, our like group of friends gathers at there's rotating parks all throughout the Twin Cities. And it's like, come if you can. And if you can't, that's okay too. But, our kids look forward to that all summer long. Are we going on Tuesday? And where's it at? And who's going to be there? And so, there are connection points for kids all summer long. So, you could even line that up with your friends and say, hey, we're going to do this once a month, or we're going to do it, get the dates on the calendar now. Be the person who initiates for your kids. Be the person who starts the group chat and who lines it up and puts it on the calendar, because that's what it's going to take to have good friends. We do the father son camp out that Josh mentioned. We do a summer beach day. We've done this for like 4 days in 4 years in a row, where we coordinate with our mother daughter, father son groups, and we do just like a big beach day, and we swim all day and we bring lunch, and that has become just a really fun tradition. We usually do that in August. But yeah, I mean, I even have a friend who shows up at the beach every Wednesday and she's like, come if you can. And so there are just so many opportunities to build deeper relationships for your kids if you create them. So create them, be intentional, let your kids walk away from summer feeling more connected with their friends than they did in the spring when they were done with school.
Fun fact about Minnesota,
Mm.
there are more
Oh,
miles of shoreline
yep.
in Minnesota than there is in California
Yeah.
because we have so many lakes.
Yeah, so when I say the beach, I
There's a
mean,
lot of
like, a
beaches.
lake
Yeah,
with, like, a sandy front beach, and it's fun swimming in a Minnesota lake.
yeah.
I think I mean, a Minnesota lake is pretty dreamy.
Fun fact, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, extended time in nature is this 5 or 6? 5
I
or
don't know.
6, I don't remember. 5 maybe? We're outdoorsy people. In Minnesota, we still go outside a lot, but
Mhm.
obviously it's more limited. So once the weather gets nice, boom, we are outside. Screens get shut
Yep.
off, not fully, but mostly.
I was literally
So
outside all day until, like, 30 minutes before we recorded the
this
podcast.
yeah,
Yep.
yes, yes. So we spend a lot of time on the water we have a boat, swimming pool. We didn't last year, but for the previous, like, 5 years, we would put up an
Above
above
ground
ground
swimming
pool.
pool.
So we spend a lot of time in the pool, a lot of time in the water. We go to, up in Minnesota, you get cabin culture, so we don't do
Yeah,
it a ton, but a couple times each summer, we go up north, spend some time at a cabin with friends, but we are outside a lot.
yeah.
So, take advantage of that. What's I think it's 6, Jen.
Number 6 is to work together. Again, resist passivity. I know everybody needs a break, but working together is fun. It builds character, it creates family memories, and your kids will love to look back and say, hey, we did that together. So, a few ideas you guys could grow a garden. We do a small garden here. We've done community garden where you rent a plot when we used to live in the city. We've done, grow a sunflower house and let the kids play inside it. There's so many creative things you can do with growing a garden, really in the task of keeping it is so rewarding. You could do a DIY project together. You could volunteer at a farm. At our farm here, we have volunteer days for people. So we'll say, hey, we have projects that we need to have done. We cast a wide net. If anybody feels like coming and working on a farm, and we've done many work days where we allow people from the community to come and like help us build fence or clear fence line or do things like that. And so volunteer at the farm. One summer we painted our house. The kids and I did. That was quite the task, paint the house. And then even just simple things like washing the car, they will love that. Let your kids work hard, use their muscles, use their minds, and enjoy working together in some of the unique ways the summer brings.
A lot of the together. So we got work together, we have read together. So talk to us about maybe listening to audiobooks, Jen, on some adventures, even riding in the cars, a lot more
Yeah.
travel in the
Yeah.
summer.
So, you guys know us. We're huge readers. But I often find that in the summertime, it's more difficult for us for some reason to like sit down and read a family book together, like read alouds. So in the summer, we have done just really great audiobooks. And so we've done audiobooks like in the car when we're driving to the cabin. We have done really fun audiobooks when we're like driving to go, pick up animals for our um farm, picking up cows. The girls and I love this is one of our summer things we do is when the boys go to Rainy
Canada,
up
yeah.
to Canada, we usually get like paint by numbers or watercolors, and then we'll listen to an audiobook. It's so dreamy while we're outside, or we'll do it. We did it indoors one year, but we've listened to like Betsy Tacy and we listened to the Hundred Dresses book. And so just kind of use books in a way that's still fun and engaging while you're out and about doing your summer stuff.
And we listened to Louis L'Amour on
Yep.
audiobook. We
Mhm.
listened to one driving up to Canada and one driving back, and it's literally like every year it's like, which one are we the
Uh-huh.
boys are like, which Louis are we listening to,
Uh-huh.
Dad? We love Louis.
That's great.
I keep thinking I'm gonna run out of Louis, but he wrote a lot of
Aren't there
books.
like was he a real person or did he have a ghostwriter?
He was a real person. Did he have a ghostwriter with some of those? I've never heard he did.
Bum, bum,
So he
ba.
no, I don't think he did. He wrote maybe 50. I mean, you those kinds of books
You could probably spit him
it's
out.
a pretty similar plot line.
Really?
Yeah. So you get your plot structure and you just gotta plug in the details.
Yeah.
I couldn't write that well like him, but
He just
he
knew what
did
he was
good.
doing.
You can do 2 or 3 of those a year probably like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Um Number 7 is eat and cook seasonal food and do it outdoors. So for us, this is meant as a family, strawberry picking, farmers markets, fresh fish, grilling, of course, on a very regular basis, and just moving those things outside.
Yep. Next one, have an adventure. Have an adventure. Now, sometimes moms aren't big on the adventure, but I recommend it. So take a nature walk, put your feet in the creek, pick flowers. You could go camping. Um, Farm camp. We do farm camp at our farm, and that's like fun. And that's very adventurous for a lot of families. And so think a little outside your comfort zone and go for it.
Go
Adventure.
for it.
Okay. And last but
Last
not
one.
least, Josh.
No, this is
Oh,
you.
it's
Write it
me. Okay.
down.
Write it down. Write it down. Write down what you did. Um, you could write it down in a notebook. Start a notebook that you use from year to year that you say, this is what we did this summer, and this is what we did this summer, and this is what we need to remember to do. I write stuff down. Josh and I are both kind of like notebookers. And I'll even like write like reminders in my phone for the following year to be like I had one come up last week that was like, order seeds because you're going to want to start seeds right now, or you're going to, whatever it is. totally do that. But write it down. You could either do a blog, you could totally start like a little blog, like a WordPress or anything like that. You don't have to share it with anybody, or like a secret Instagram if you don't want the world to know what you're doing. But I always love to say,
You did that. You did a secret
I did do
YouTube
that.
channel
I did do
that we
that.
actually from when the
I
kids were really
actually do have a
little,
secret YouTube channel.
and we watched
It's
their
like
little kid videos.
all of our family movies that are on there, and then we can go online on
Yeah.
YouTube from our TV and watch them. But write it down. There are
Now everybody's gonna
actually,
go look for the secret YouTube
if
channel.
you
You
can
can't
find it, I
find
don't think you can find it.
it.
Um, but you could do, I'm gonna just throw this out as an idea. If you wanted to do a secret Instagram, you could like post your photos with all the captions. And then there are companies out there that you can upload your Instagram and then they'll make a book out of it. And so it'll literally do like a cover and it can be just like it's a super simple way to like create a journal, keep a memory book, but
Mhm.
write it down. Um, and your kids are going to look back on your summers and they're going to say, Dad and Mom were so intentional with the way they spent time with us, the way they poured into us. And you're going to find it's your best summer yet.
Best summer yet.
Best
That's
summer
great.
yet.
All right, that does it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
We're honored to partner with the Addisons, and today I want to point you toward their podcast. It's called Culture Proof, and they use a biblical approach to view current events, family, politics, and more. What makes it unique is their biblical perspective. They take the truth from the Bible and they apply it to issues that we're facing today. They don't just discuss problems, they provide practical things that we can do to make a difference and raise our children to follow Christ. Subscribe today so that you and your family can be culture proof. Thank you for listening to the Gospel Shaped Family Podcast. Please share this episode and give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcasts.